So currently here outside Goma, and I'm with a special guest today, Mr. Chris Sheedy, the adjudicator for Guinness World Records Australia and New Zealand. Thanks for joining us today, Chris.
Great to be here, thank you.
So what's the record attempt today? What's the official title?
Yeah, look, the official title is simple. It's the largest busk. What we're looking for is to get as many buskers as possible into one area, which has been fenced off here today. And the current record stands at 230 buskers, so that's what we're looking to break.
Do you think it's going to be successful today?
I've been hearing a lot of good noises from the organisers, but until I count that many people through, I never trust that a record is going to be broken. You know, some records actually require a great deal of skill in terms of the individuals. Some records, like this one, actually require a massive amount of organisation. And they're the ones I'm actually most nervous about. They can't practice, they can't train, they can't prove beforehand that they're going to break the record. They just need enough people to turn up.
I understand from talking to you before that you kind of missed the popular at the start, and sometimes at the end you might be not so well liked. Is that true for a lot of events?
Yeah, look, about 40 to 50% of events I actually have to tell people that they did not break the record. It can be difficult, it can be painful for the people, but we can't just give a record for no reason at all. So I can only allow a record when it has been broken. It's much worse when I have to tell, say, 25,000 people that they don't have a record. If it's just a couple of people, I don't mind too much.
You have to tell people at Brisbane today. Is that too many people?
I'm going to stay positive and think that I'm not going to have to tell people they don't have a record today.
Sounds very promising. Some other questions. I met you a couple of years ago at the Coffee Club attempt for the world's largest speed dating event. Did Brisbane and the Coffee Club actually get that record?
That actually was not broken in the end because we didn't get enough evidence through from the organisers. So while it was a fantastic event and really successful for them, the record was not broken.
So organisation seems to be key for these kind of events.
Yeah, especially for that particular event involved coffee clubs, I think across Queensland or possibly even across Australia, and to organise so many event areas to get all the evidence together and bring it all in is incredibly difficult, and I can't blame somebody for not being able to do that.
It was a good event. Thanks for coming to Brisbane. I think it was actually a national event, that one. So.
Yeah, so that was actually it was managed from Brisbane, wasn't it? So the head office of the event, if you like, was in Brisbane.
Awesome. How many Brisbane events do you actually turn up to each year?
Yeah, look, usually 3 or 4 times a year in Brisbane. This year, or last year, 2014, was a massive year for Sydney. I was in Sydney probably at least every fortnight. I wasn't in Melbourne at all last year, which was quite surprising. So it goes in waves, but yeah, probably 3 or 4 times a year for Brisbane.
Whereabouts are you based? Whereabouts is your head office?
I'm based in Canberra for my sins. I'm from Sydney, but moved to Canberra about 3 years ago.
And do you have an Irish connection? Were you born in Ireland, or your grandparents or father or anything like that?
Yeah, my father's side is from Ireland, but they were the bad ones who were sent over here on the ships for doing something wrong, I believe. I'm not quite sure what they did wrong, but they were definitely the convicts. So yeah, I do have a small amount of Irish in me. Yes.
They might have been going for a Guinness World Record.
Yeah, I hope so. I think that would be a good excuse. Anyway,
the most bread loaves you can steal in a day or something.
Possibly, and actually, if they were well fed, if they were large people, then they were probably pretty good at it. So.
Thanks for that insights. I guess I have some other questions here. I don't know whether you're keen to answer them, but is there any records that you would actually like to try yourself, and can you actually do that?
Yeah, so I'll answer the second bit first. No, I'm not allowed to attempt any records, which was really very frustrating because there are some that I'd love. In my fantasy world, I would love to do something on a motorcycle with the longest motorcycle jump, perhaps, which is one that I've witnessed. Robbie Madison has the world's longest motorcycle jump at 106.9 metres. He actually flies the motorcycle through the air, and I mean, he controls whether its nose is up or down by revving the engine or by hitting the brakes. And to have that sort of talent, I think, would be incredible. So in my fantasy world, that's what I'd like to do.
And so some other questions. I guess any advice for any individuals or companies trying to get a Guinness World Record?
Yeah, look, it's when I watch the individuals who do something, they simply find something that they're incredibly good at, and they obsessively train. That's what they do. And they become very, very good at one very specific thing. So, for instance, a guy called Anthony Kelly, who lives in Armidale in New South Wales, he's very well known as the arrow catcher. He's the guy who archers will fire arrows at him, and he can catch them as they go past. he realised that he had very good reflexes through doing martial arts, and then he narrowed that down further to use his reflexes to learn to catch arrows, and that's then how he broke records. So I think the trick is finding something you're very good at and then narrowing it down as much as possible so you can train on one thing.
The burning question that I have is how many new records are created? Is Guinness World Records in the habit of creating new records, or just keep kind of the old ones kind of going? And
yeah, great question. There are there's the answer is there's a bit of both. So obviously we have the records that we monitor all the time, the categories that are open. We actually close some categories, or we say resting a category every now and then for various reasons. And we will also create new categories, which obviously we have to do when things like the internet pop up and things like YouTube and things like Twitter, and there are always new types of records, new technologies, new challenges, faster cars, different types of aeroplanes. So yeah, we'll always consider starting a new category as well.
Awesome. Another question, do you think you'll ever open up a Guinness World Record museum in Brisbane?
Wouldn't that be fantastic? I know that there are actually Guinness World Records museums beginning to open around the world. They're starting in the United States, and I would say that Brisbane would not be far away once they start expanding outside of the United States.
So some big things happening in Brisbane. Thanks, Chris, for your time. I guess we'll might interview you again shortly with Emma. She's running a little bit late, so hopefully I'll find her and I'll get back to you with later when you have the announcement.
Anytime. Lovely to chat again.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks for your time.